Two stages of the argument. I've shown you sort of normal monetary policy, okay, and now I've shown you normal market fluctuation, okay, that monetary policy isn't doing anything about. Where's the Fed here? There's no Fed, okay? It's all absorbed in the private banking system, okay? So the Fed funds rate just stays where it is, and everything is fine, and we never see this. The central bank doesn't intervene here. But what if, okay, it's a really big shock, okay? And the dealers are not able to, it starts to move the dealers into a position where they're anxious about this, or move the banks into a position where they're anxious about this, okay? And there's a very big shock. That's when the Fed can come into play. I said there's these asset price distortions. Okay. The world that Bagehot knew, we were talking about a world where the central bank, the Bank of England, had a bank rate that it set above the market interest rate. And it said, well, if things ever get so bad that you need to borrow money from me, I'm happy to lend it to you, but it's going to cost you, and I'm setting this rate. Well, the way to think about that is, you know, that the central bank is setting an interest rate sort of like that, okay? So that if interest rates go, you know, if the market on its own would cause rates to spike above this, the central bank becomes the lender of last resort to the market. And then the balance sheets look like this, that the bank can lend more to the dealers, help the dealers, okay, by borrowing from the borrowing reserves for itself from the Fed. Okay. If the Fed is backstopping the banks are more willing to backstop the dealers. Okay, that's the point. Okay, and this supports this abnormal, larger shock and keeps it within bounds. Okay, this is basically lender of last resort sort of operations. You know, when the shocks are too large for the private market to absorb, and you see, and the way you know that is you see really these market rates of interest spiking or asset prices plummeting or something. It's possible that the central bank can put a floor on all of this by acting as a lender of last resort in this way. Classic lender of last resort activity. In essence, it's backstopping the short positions that the bank has in money, the liquidity risk it's taking on, by having short positions in money itself. It's creating more money and you can't, but these short positions the Fed can't run into trouble with, okay, because it's the ultimate money, at least domestically. We haven't done internationally yet. Okay, so that's why the Fed is able to relieve a crisis, okay? Because what is a crisis? You know, this is the crisis. Everyone wants deposits, everyone wants money, okay? And they don't want securities. Well, it has to add up in the economy, right? The securities have to go somewhere, and the way that the lender of last resort works is that the securities that people don't want get absorbed into the financial sector, and the cash that people do want gets created by the financial sector and used to fund the positions in the securities. That's how it works. See, there's an expansion of the balance sheet of the dealers, there's an expansion of the banks, and there's an expansion ultimately of the Fed. In doing so, the Fed is operating as a money market dealer. It's supporting the behavior of all of these people here, here, and here,